Very much for joining us live on Sky Sports News. We'll talk about the rest of the football shortly, but first your thoughts on the passing of George Cohen.
Yes, really important for us to start with some words about the situation. Of course, it's a huge loss for us, for the Fulham, for us as a football club, for the English football as well. Sad day for all of us, and of course I would like, as a manager, as a Fulham manager, to send all our condolences for his family, and all our thoughts stay with him and his family right now.
He played over 450 times for the club, one club man. How big is that in today's game?
He's one of the biggest examples in this football club, in the whole story of this football club, and it's an unbelievable number. I think the numbers they speak for themselves. Great example, and of course I know what he represents for this football club. How he's a really important person, not just when he was playing, after that as well, what he represents for all of us, and of course because that is a really sad day for us.
And to have a World Cup winner amongst the club as well, it's great for the history, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, because that I said, not just for our football club, I think for all the English football, is a really important person, and of course he represents really well. He has represented really well always this football club in English football.
And he worked in hospitality behind the scenes at Fulham. Did you ever have the experience of meeting him?
Unfortunately no, but of course I knew, and because that I said, not just on the pitch, off the pitch, I think is one of the greatest examples in this football club.
And we know that the Premier League have asked the clubs to mark his passing in the upcoming fixtures. The club Fulham going to be doing anything else for that? Definitely
we are going to do, of course. Next game will be away from home, and definitely in our next home game, something we are going to do for sure.
Okay, thanks for those words on George there. Let's move to the upcoming round of football now then, and is there any injury news for the upcoming match against Crystal Palace?
Some players they started working with the team this week, some not fully fit yet, too soon, because as you know we have more sessions until the match. Looking for our last friendly match. Not big difference until now. Let's see the next few days if you have better news from that match. All the others they are at the same level.
And which players are you waiting news on?
Robinson, it was one of the players that he wasn't available for the last friendly match against West Ham. Mitrovic is another one, and the situation of Kurzawa. Apart from Cabano, that, as you know, he has a long-term injury.
And is Mitrovic a doubt for Crystal Palace?
Yes, yes.
What is it with him you're waiting on?
You are waiting, is something he had that issue in his foot before the World Cup. He lost the last two games. Of course, he recovered. He played some games in the World Cup, and last two, I have to say, with not fully fit again. Of course, you are trying to get him in his best physical condition again, to be if he's fit or not for Crystal Palace. If not for Crystal Palace, we'll be for the next one. Let's hope.
You had a number of players at the World Cup. What did you make of it, and how did you find the time off, in theory, for yourself? Unusual situation for all of us. I think is I think all the managers they will say the same, because a break at this time, and long break, 6 weeks break, is a long break. In November and December, of course, but of course I think we adapt really well for the situation. We followed our players in the World Cup. Of course, we did our work on that. After a small break, we did a good camping with our players. Some good weeks here at the training ground as well, and we are ready to go again. It's Christmas Eve. I know that you may be celebrating it slightly differently. How will you celebrate it personally, and also with the players as well?
Okay, with the players, as you know, you have session in 24th, we have session the 25th, and then later in the evening we'll be all together preparing the Crystal Palace match, and we are going to the hotel, and will be a normal day for us. Okay, in the meantime, of course, all of us we'll have our time with our families. Of course, it's a family time, and all of us we have to enjoy not just ourselves and the togetherness in our football club and between all of us, but of course in our own lives with our families as well. And celebration for me, I think, is not really different for all of you. Is the same. Enjoy the time with your family. okay, share all our moments in this important moment of the year, and to be all together.
So it's Crystal Palace up next. You have a similar record this season so far. How do you go about beating them after kind of a disappointing period in those 3 matches before the World Cup break?
Yes, in performance-wise, I cannot say that was a disappointing matches, because and the last match is a good example. That's what I'm saying against Man United at home. We fully deserve much more from the game that we got it. Of course, we talk about it, we analyze. I think the last 2 home games we performed really well. Man United and Everton, we deserve much more from the both games, and unfortunately for us, we just got 1 point, and the other one was City match away from home, that we were really competitive, and we lost in the last minute of the game. 2 tough defeats, because in the last minute to lose points the way we lost is always tough for us. But as I said, performance-wise, we did really well. We were competitive like always. We tried to get points and to win the match, and this is the most important thing for us. Will be a different one after a long break. As I said, it's important to see not just ourselves, all the teams, they are going to react after this long break. We want to go again in the right track again, and of course to get points. And I think it will be a good game against, in my opinion, a very good side. Collectively they are good, and they have very good organization. On the ball, they have the quality to play and to create, to be always a threat for the opposition side. At home, with the support their fans, they are even stronger. And individual, they have the quality, they have quality. 3-4 players in the attack line, they are always a threat, and they can create problems. Of course, it's a game that will demand from ourselves very good organization, but more than that, the character and the personality to go and to match the Crystal Palace team.
As you know, football, life moves very quickly in football. We go from the World Cup to the transfer window opening next week. The inevitable questions are probably on the way. Mitrovic obviously is a man that scores goals in the Premier League. We know he's got many years left on his contract here, but how important is it that Fulham do keep hold of him past January?
Firstly, I would like to answer to you that you said that Mitro is a player that can score goals in Premier League. And I'm pleased that the things are changing right now. Because what I heard from last season was that Mitro just scored in Championship. In the beginning of this season, the conversation and the questions for me they were always the same. Can Mitro score in Premier League? We'll do the same than last season. And finally, I don't need to repeat every time the same thing, because your questions for me are coming right now. Okay, Mitro are scoring goals in Premier League. Probably was too late, but some of you start to realize how we can score and how is important play for us, not just in Championship. About the market, I will not like to answer even doesn't open yet, and about speculation, all these things is not the moment to talk about, and I don't want even to waste time on it. Market will be open. Of course, we are working to try to always to strengthen our squad if you can. It's a difficult market. January market is always difficult, but you are working on it, and if you can do it, you are trying to do.
Do you prefer signing players in the January transfer market or the summer?
Summer, definitely the summer. Of course, is probably one of the most important moments of the season. The way you prepare your football club and your squad to the season. Of course, something can happen during the first 5 months that make you to go, or some things that you didn't do in the summer market. Probably some long-term injuries as well. Some players that probably they didn't adapt like we expect, and of course if you have to do something, you are going to do in January. But answer direct to you, of course, I prefer really to do the right things in January market.
Just 2 more from me, if that's okay. I know you said you didn't want to talk about specific players, but Abdelal Decore is a player that you've worked with at 2 previous clubs. If he was to become available, we know you got on well at your previous clubs when you worked with him. Is he a player that you would be interested in potentially bringing to Craven Cottage?
As I said, I will not talk about speculation. He's not our football player, and I'm just talk about our football players.
But as a player that you've previously worked with, did you enjoy your time with him?
No, I understand your question. I know what you want from me in this situation, but I prefer to talk about all my players from Bern, Leno, Marek and George until Mitrovic and Vinicius. I talk about all of them. About players from the other teams, I don't want to talk. Okay.
Just finally, sure, what might say to this one, Cedric Suarez.
Another one.
At Arsenal, I know that you said this, but is he a player that you're aware of? Obviously, you were familiar with what he...
Yeah, was my player too in Portugal. Was my player in Sporting, but just that, again, I want, and I would like to talk about our players and players from the other teams.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Nick,
Hi, Marco.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Good to see
Good
you.
afternoon.
The first part of your season was very positive, but what satisfied you the most?
The way you played, the way we have grown during the season as well. I think, of course, the position, the table, you are pleased for that, but you know that it's too early to talk about the position. It's not something that we are always thinking on it. Of course, points are the most important thing in football as well. But I think the way we played, the way we have been so competitive, like I've promised you in the beginning of the season, and the way the team was, most of the games was growing, okay, step by step, growing, improving, always something, not just collectively, but some players individual as well.
And what is the biggest area of improvement you're hoping to see from your team in the next part of the season?
More consistent, and to take more points from the game that we really deserve. I think when you play so well in certain type of games and we did so good things, and normally you take more points than we got it. And this is one of the things that we have to improve clear, to be more consistent, that the points that we can get reflects what's happened on the pitch, or our performance on the pitch as well, and of course to be more mature in some moments. I forgot before when you said one of the things that pleased me more. Another thing is clear, the connection between the team and the fans. All this connection, all this togetherness that I'm seeing growing in our football club is really important for us, and I'm really pleased for that.
And how challenging do you expect it to be restarting the season suddenly with different players in different positions, situations? Some of them played the World Cup, some of them are still recovering from injuries.
Yes, it will be. I think all of us we expect something. We can feel that everyone is hungry to play. Everyone was really looking forward for it as well. But we'll be. Let's see how the teams they will adapt quick. Of course, we want to have a fast adaptation again for the Premier League. 6 weeks break in this moment of the season is completely an unusual situation. Of course, I would like to see our team adapt quick for the intensity, for the tempo, for everything what Premier League demands from ourselves, and it's really important. But just when the game starts, we'll feel how the things are. But of course, you are preparing well our players to be ready for the Boxing Day.
You spoke about Mitrovic. What do you think has been the key for his success this season?
First is quality, definitely, because quality is impossible to do so well. After the way I think the way you play, the way we take the best from his strengths as well, and most than all the other things is the way his teammates they provide for him. I think the way you play, we can deliver for him, and of course after he has the ability, the quality to score goals and to perform the way he's performing.
Thanks, Nick. Any further questions from broadcast before we move to written? We good there, guys? Thank you.